Rise and shine, dear lights. Welcome back to Light Me Up. I am your host, Brandon Bryant, and I'm back to say happy 2026 to you and yours. I am sitting here just thinking about all of the wonderful things we covered this past year, and I'm looking forward to sharing more of my heart with you this year. I'm so surprised I made it 8 episodes last year and hope to exceed that number exponentially and work to have guests sprinkled throughout, as I love organic exchanges that we can have as humans through a free flow of conversation, lifting and lighting each other up. Whether you're listening right now, wherever you are, I want you to take one slow, intentional breath with me. Because today's episode is not about doing more, it's about fixing yourself. It's not about hustling harder or becoming some optimized version of who you think you're supposed to be based off of someone else's narrative or prescription for your life. Today is about going back to basics, back to ourselves, back to being human again. Let me start with a question. When was the last time you truly felt present in your own life? Not rushing, not scrolling, not performing, just here. If you had to answer honestly, and it feels like it's been a while, you're not alone. I've been feeling it too. Lately, it feels like the world is moving faster than our nervous systems can keep up with. Gosh, is that ever true? We're constantly processing news, opinions, algorithms, notifications, expectations, and pressure. We're asked to be productive, resilient, available, and fine all at the same time. And somewhere along the way, many of us have drifted away from the simple, grounding things that make us human. So today, I want to talk about what it means to reconnect with ourselves, to recommit to our humanity, and to preserve and celebrate the parts of us that can't be automated, optimized, or rushed. This episode is soup for your soul. This is a gentle reset as we begin to take on 2026 with a renewed sense of purpose, focus, and celebration of our humanity. A remembering of what makes you special and how to tap back in case you forgot. So, here we go. What does it even mean to be human in 2026? Because it feels like so much of our humanity is being edited, filtered, scheduled, and monetized. We're taught to quantify everything: our productivity, our worth, our rest, our relationships, sitting in spreadsheet land and losing our humanity in the process. But being human was never meant to be efficient. Being human is messy, it's nonlinear, it's emotional, it's contradictory. We feel joy and grief in the same breath. We crave connection, but also need solitude. Boy, don't I know that one. This weekend was a prime example of that. After having a beautiful wedding in August of 2025, tackling a busy work season, and a delightful but packed holiday season with people I love, sometimes we just need a reset. I love people and sharing space, and yet it's important for me to take periods to be quiet and listen to my body. We spend so much of our lives trying to live up to what others expect from us, or feel obligated to do so, and lose ourselves in the mix. We want to be seen, but sometimes we don't want to be perceived at all. You're not broken, it's just reality. And yet, many of us have been conditioned to override those natural rhythms. We push through exhaustion. We silence our intuition. We ignore our bodies. We numb discomfort instead of listening to it. We forget that being human isn't about having all the answers. It's about staying curious, staying tender, staying awake to our inner selves. I've noticed that when I feel lost, anxious, or disconnected, it's often not because I'm doing life wrong. It's because I've drifted too far from myself. So today, instead of asking, how do I fix my life? I want us to ask a different question. What would it look like to return to myself? There's this narrative floating around that reconnecting with yourself is indulgent, that slowing down is lazy, that turning inward is avoidance. I don't buy that for 1 second. Reconnecting with yourself is an act of responsibility. When you don't know how you feel, your body keeps the score. Ever get sick because you were on autopilot or doing the most? Yeah, me too. Our bodies definitely have a way of telling us to have several seats. You know what I'm talking about. When you don't listen to your needs, they come out sideways. When you abandon yourself, you end up seeking constant validation from the outside world. How about saying yes to yourself? Hype yourself up for a change. Reconnection isn't about retreating from life. My light, it's about engaging with life from a grounded place. Think about it. When you're regulated, rested, and rooted in yourself, you show up differently. You listen better. You react less. You breathe easier. You choose more intentionally. Reconnection is the foundation for healthy relationships, meaningful work, and sustainable joy. And the truth is, many of us were never taught how to do this. We were taught how to achieve, perform, comply, and push through. But very few of us were taught how to be with ourselves. So, if reconnecting feels unfamiliar, if it feels awkward or uncomfortable, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're learning. Grant yourself the space and time to loosen your grip so you can grow. Learning how to be human again is going to take practice. When life feels overwhelming, complicated, or heavy, I always come back to this question. What are the basics I've neglected? Not the flashy solutions, not the expensive fixes, but the basics. Things like, am I sleeping enough? Am I moving my body gently? Am I eating in a way that nourishes me? Am I spending time with people who make me feel safe and seen? Am I allowing myself to feel without immediately judging or numbing those feelings? The basics aren't glamorous, but they are grounding. We don't need to reinvent ourselves every season. Sometimes we just need to return to what's always worked. Our bodies know what they need. Our hearts know what they're longing for. But have we taken the time to slow down enough to listen? I want to offer 5 practical and gentle ways to begin reconnecting with yourself and your humanity. Perfection is not the point here. These tips are about practice. So, number 1, let's learn how to be bored again. Yeah, I said it. I know it sounds strange, but boredom is where creativity, reflection, and insight live. We've trained ourselves to fill every quiet moment with stimulation, with podcasts, music, scrolling, and incessant notifications. Try leaving space. Go for a walk without headphones. Lately, I've been occasionally using my nearly 1.5 hour commute into Brooklyn for work to sit quietly and take in the sounds of the city and the train car I'm in. I know I've been feeling like I've been investing way too much time scrolling and less time being. You can add this into your practice. It doesn't have to be every day. It can be just 5 minutes. If you drive, sit in your car for a moment before going inside for that important meeting. Let your mind wander. Boredom is not emptiness, it's spaciousness. And in that space, you might learn to hear yourself again. Number two, your body is not an obstacle to overcome. It is an intelligent messenger. When you're tired, that's information. When you feel tight, anxious, or heavy, that's communication. Instead of asking, how do I push through this? Try asking, what is my body asking for right now? Maybe it needs rest. Maybe it needs movement. Maybe it needs warmth, hydration, or comfort. By the way, drink more water, Brandon. Reconnecting with your humanity means honoring the wisdom of your body, not overriding it. Number three, practice presence over performance. So many of us are performing our lives instead of living them. We curate moments. We narrate experiences instead of experiencing them. We worry about how things look instead of how they feel. So this week, try being where you are. If you're with someone, really be with them. If you're resting, let it be real rest, for real. If you're feeling something, allow it without immediately analyzing it. Presence is a form of devotion. It's a poem of compassion for ourselves and others. Stop looking for canned responses in situations that call for us to just be human. If you're doing that, are you really living? Number four, recommit to community. We were never meant to do life alone. Isolation erodes our humanity, but connection restores it. This doesn't mean you need to have a huge social circle. It does mean having at least one or two places where you can show up as yourself. Call a friend, join a group, say hello to someone you see regularly. Community doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. It just has to be real. So now I want to take a moment to just talk about some of those real things that can occur or did occur for me last year. I last year went to several concerts, but standout for me was the Jacob Collier concert that was at Center Stage in Central Park, filled with lots of fans, but so much wonderful humanity, great music, a happy birthday song for Jacob just hours before he was to celebrate his birthday. I loved being there, surrounded by so many wonderful voices and people. It made me feel so much warmth, positivity, and connection to friends in the audience. In August, I went to Mexico with friends just before my wedding. And can I just say that having that time, as a friend of mine said, you can call it a pre-moon or a sugar moon. I think that was Kelly that said that. Thank you, Kelly. Having that pre-moon was a wonderful opportunity for me to connect with my partner, to reconnect and recommit myself to my friends, and just have a wonderful time on the beach, reading, and just enjoying the fresh Gulf of Mexico air. And then several weeks later, a week after that, rather, I had a most wonderful bachelor weekend, spent time with friends, and went on a wonderful excursion of Lower Manhattan with some of my closest friends. It was just a wonderful time. The next day, I went to a wonderful rooftop restaurant and had an amazing experience with my best friend, Eric. So grateful for that. It was just what the soul needed. And then the following week was my wedding. And when I tell you it was a perfect day, it really was just a perfect day. The weather was gorgeous. The friends and family that surrounded us was just magical. And then we had a wonderful dinner and just spent time fellowshipping with each other and just had a great time. I still, to this day, am reverberating from all the wonderful memories that we created that day. I will probably share a picture that stood out to me. Actually, not probably. I will. I got permission to share this picture from the wedding. And it was of my in-laws who, I'll say, I have seen my partner's mother smile, but I've never seen her smile as broadly as she smiled in this picture. And if I ever need a pick-me-up, I can just go back to our guest book and flip to that picture and see both of my in-laws with the broadest smiles ever. And I'm so grateful and wanted to share just how much I love each of you. I'll throw in a couple more pictures as I'm talking here, but just know that most of this podcast is really about reconnecting with yourself, but also surrounding yourself with community and loved ones, as that's what is going to sustain us in these difficult days that are going to be ahead. We need that positivity. We need that connection. We need that warmth. It's important to me that you have that for yourself. What else can I share with you? Let's see. I also want to share that I had the most wonderful time at a friend's wedding in September. And as we're talking about community and building and reconnecting to humanity, I was inspired by, I guess there's a tradition in Pittsburgh, but I guess it's probably not just Pittsburgh, it's other places too, where after a big event, life-marking event, you bring cookies and you share those around with friends and family. And when I tell you I was inspired by that wonderful gesture, that we decided to have a holiday cookie party here at our apartment, surrounded by, again, community, loved ones, family, chosen family. And we exchanged cookies, but it was really more about having space to just share community and love amongst each other. And I'm really grateful for those that were able to attend. And I hope that we can continue to do this year after year before we separate from each other for the holidays. And then as we rolled into the end of December of 2025 and New Year's Eve, we spent New Year's Eve with some of our closest friends and had just a blast. Lots of laughter, lots of love, connection, positivity. And I'm really grateful to all those that I was able to share space with that day. I will say, if I'm just being real, I did not think I was going to show up there, but I'm so glad that I did. I really just wanted to tap into just being myself, have a little moment on the couch, and just kind of veg out. But sometimes taking that moment to remember that sharing space with others is so important and so vital. The other thing I wanted to share too is we touched some grass this year, y'all. We went hiking just up north of the city and spent, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 days and we went one day hiking near Hunter Mountain, and it was a long, arduous, but fun hiking trip with friends. We got to connect in ways that we hadn't before, and I hope that we can do that again too. These are the things that I'm talking about, folks. Like, find ways and opportunities for you to connect with those that you really, really, truly care about. It's so important, and it is just the balm that we all need these days. Number 5, create without an outcome. One of the most human things we can do is create for the sake of creating, not to monetize, not to impress, not to optimize, just because it feels good. Write something no one will see, sing badly in your car or in your shower, cook a meal without photographing it, make art that exists only for you, pick back up that hobby you once enjoyed. Creation reconnects us with play, and play is deeply human. We are living in a time where efficiency is prized over empathy, where speed is valued over depth, where productivity often replaces presence. Preserving your humanity is a quiet act of resistance. Did you hear me? In a world that would like to make us seem subhuman, preserving your humanity is an act of resistance. It's choosing rest in a culture of required burnout, as much as they give lip service to the exact opposite. It's choosing curiosity in a culture of boundless certainty. It's choosing compassion in a culture of persistent judgment, and it matters. When you stay human, you give others permission to do the same. You become a safe place. You become a calming presence, a reminder that softness is strength. As we begin 2026, I want to leave you with this thought. You don't need to become someone new to feel whole. You don't need to fix yourself to be worthy. You might just need to come home to yourself, to your breath, to your body, to your truth. So this week, ask yourself, what would it look like to treat my humanity as sacred? Not something to overcome, not something to manage, but something to protect and to celebrate. Ask yourself, where in my life have I drifted from myself, and what would help me gently return? If you need an affirmation and that resonates with you, you can repeat this whenever you need it. I am allowed to be human. I honor my limits, my feelings, and my need for connection. Coming back to myself is an act of love. All right, folks, you have made it this long, and now it's time for the vibe of the week. So for this week's vibe of the week, I'm going to share a song that reminds me of simplicity, presence, and being alive, despite the title of the song. You can choose what resonates for you, but let music be a place where you soften and feel. So this week's vibe for the week is Die With a Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. It truly means the world to me. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need a reminder that they're allowed to slow down and be human. You can follow the show on Instagram at Light Me Up Podcast. And as always, you can connect with me directly at Shine with Brandon, also on Instagram. I welcome your feedback and hearing what's on your mind or what you'd like for me to talk about. Consider me as a friend here to share life lessons that may help you learn, grow, heal, or be inspired to live. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe and leave a review. It helps this little light of a podcast find more people. And until next week, keep shining your light.